Chapter 25. Xianxia's Prince. You dare hit my brother Long? That man suddenly felt a chill as if a giant monster was staring at him. Without even thinking about it, the punch that was aimed at Long Chen immediately changed direction, colliding with a fist that was even larger than his own. Bang! The entire restaurant rocked, and everyone was shocked to see that the huge figure that was protecting Long Chen was actually Wild. Wild was like a war god, his eyes practically spitting flames and a strange red layer appearing over his skin. He actually managed to firmly stop the scarred man's punch. But although he blocked it, Wild was still forced back several steps, and he would have fallen onto the ground if Long Chen hadn't come to support him. The scarred man was surprised yet again. Both Long Chen and Wild didn't have any obvious cultivation base, yet they were actually able to consecutively block him, a blood condensation expert. His shock quickly led to killing intent. Long Chen saw he had provoked the man's killing intent. His Feng Fu star had yet to reach the level of complete condensation, so he was unable to handle him. The most important point was that although the scarred man had released his full strength, he had yet to consider them true opponents. From the beginning until now, he had yet to use any battle skills. He had clearly not unleashed his full attack potential on them. Long Chen didn't know what was happening with Wild for him to suddenly become several times stronger. But even if the two of them joined hands, they would definitely not be able to block the scarred man's killer attacks. Long Chen stealthily rubbed his spatial ring. A fiery red medicinal pill appeared in his hand as he coldly looked at the scarred man. Everyone stop! Just as the scarred man was preparing to attack again, a cold shout rang out and a group of people appeared at the top floor of the restaurant. There were at least a dozen people, most wearing protective armor, but the two men at the front were wearing yellow imperial robes. Greetings to His Highness the Crown Prince. Everyone was shocked and hastily knelt down when they saw that person. That person was the Crown Prince Chu Yang. He appeared to be 27 years old, and with his square nose, he had a rather dignified and imposing air. The man beside him was slightly younger. He was pale and very handsome. However, he also gave people a very soft and gentle feeling. Brother Chu Yang, does your Phoenix Cry Empire treat its guests this way? Gloomily asked that man. Just at this moment, Chu Yang's expression was slightly unsightly. Looking at the man with long eyebrows lying on the ground, he angrily demanded, "What is going on here? Have you all gone blind? Do you not realize these are guests from the Grand Zaya?" Chu Yang's gaze swept over all of them. Fatty Yu and the others' hearts were all pounding nervously, and sweat ran down their foreheads. They could tell that for that person to talk to the Crown Prince in such a way, in addition to his hair bun, he was most likely a prince of Grand Zaya. The Grand Zaya was once mortal enemies with the Phoenix Cry Empire, but in the past few decades, their relations had mellowed and they had become allies. But the Grand Zaya only had two princes, and they didn't know whether this person was the Crown Prince or the second prince. My eyes haven't gone blind. This guy has blind dog eyes, so I just took the place of his master and taught him a little lesson. Long Chen walked forward indifferently. Who are you? The Crown Prince Chu Yang was irritated that a youth would dare speak to him in such a manner, but he was still calm and didn't immediately order his subordinates to capture him. Long Chen. If he hadn't known Long Chen's name a month ago, he definitely knew it by now. There were few members in the upper class who had yet to hear of him. He was originally a trash cripple, but had now defeated a key condensation expert on the martial arena twice in a row, and then somehow became a pill apprentice. There was a veil of mystery around him. Why did you beat up Crown Prince Changfeng's bodyguard? Now that this matter involved the Alchemist Guild, even he, the Crown Prince, felt that it was extremely problematic. No reason, I just felt that it was his fate today, so I helped the heavens and sent him on his way. Long Chen spread his hands. You? Chu Yang exclaimed angrily. He had wanted Long Chen to give a reason, and then, with a bit of his smoothing around and pointing out Long Chen's background with the Alchemist Guild, this matter would be resolved. But Long Chen acted like he hadn't understood anything, and actually said such a line. His face turned green from rage. You're called Long Chen? I think I've heard of you. You seem to be pretty impressive these days. Suddenly asked the Grand Xia's Crown Prince Xia Changfeng. I might be a bit impressive, but I pale in comparison to the people from your Grand Xia. Long Chen pointed out to the man lying on the ground. With a magical beast pulling a carriage, he went wild throughout the streets, barreling left and right without regard for other people. Now, that's really impressive. For a dog to be so impressive, I really can't imagine how impressive its master must be. Xia Changfeng's expression immediately sunk. Is this true? Long Chen coldly snorted. Don't ask me. Ask your dog. Lu Lao. Did such a thing truly happen? Xia Changfeng's gaze turned ruthless, but he quickly pushed it down. Master, I was rushing for time. Who knows why the lowly people here don't know how to get out of the way? It isn't my fault. The man with long eyebrows had now recovered slightly, and he suppressed his pain to answer. Idiots! This isn't the Grand Xia. No one here recognizes our imperial carriages. Take him away. Xia Changfeng's face turned dark, and he cursed. Two men wearing Grand Xia's clothes took the man away. He then turned towards Chu Yang and apologized. Changfeng was not strict enough with my people. Once I return, I will definitely properly discipline them to brother Chu Yang's satisfaction. Brother Changfeng is too courteous. I just hope that this small matter won't affect the relations between our two empires, hastily said Chu Yang. Brother Chu Yang worries too much. This matter will end here. He then turned to Long Chen and said, Many thanks to little brother for warning me of this danger. Everyone stared blankly. No one had expected the Crown Prince of the great Grand Xia to actually say such words, and apologize to Long Chen. A feeling of admiration arose for him. This Grand Xia Prince truly had an extraordinary bearing. If it weren't for Long Chen's powerful spiritual strength and perception, he might also think that way. But that killing intent Xia Changfeng had released towards him was not unnoticed or forgotten. Prince is too polite. For dogs to misbehave is common. You have to hold on to their leashes tightly. Otherwise, they'll bite and claw others. Long Chen laughed and warned him cordially. Hearing this, the scarred man's expression darkened. Long Chen's usage of the word dog included not only him, but also all the other imperial bodyguards. But Xia Changfeng only smiled slightly, as if he hadn't understood the implicit meaning. We just arrived at the capital, but all we've heard about is what you've done. Actually, I originally thought that Brother Long was just an alchemist, but it seems everyone was wrong. You dual cultivate martial arts and pill refining. Such battle strength is truly admirable. You are definitely at the peak amongst your generation. Long Chen only looked back at Xia Changfeng, momentarily not understanding what he meant by this. He only smiled slightly without offering a response. I wonder if Brother Long would do me an honor of having a few drinks with me and Brother Chu, asked Xia Changfeng. Although his smile was pleasant, Long Chen sensed that it was a smile that hid a poisonous fang, and he felt extremely uncomfortable with it. I'm sorry, but this little brother has drunk too much just now and can't bear any more. Otherwise, I wouldn't have bothered with two dogs. This little one will take his leave. Long Chen smiled, and seemingly without noticing Xia Changfeng's darkened expression, or the scarred man's dense killing intent, he brought Wild out. Once Long Chen left, Shifeng and the others hastily apologized and ran, having experienced a great fright today. Master, why didn't you let me kill that kid? Lu Lao's now incapable of having any more children. That kid is too vicious. At this time, the Grand Jazz Prince had already returned to his residence, and the scarred man was speaking to him. That little kid is someone from the Alchemist Guild. Although he's not from our country's guild, if you killed him like that, I would have to hand you over to the guild for punishment. But that kid is completely wild. I just can't swallow this anger. To be repeatedly cursed as a dog, no one would be able to bear it. If you want to kill him, you first have to come up with a plan. You have to make sure to kill that person while being sure you'll survive. Jia Changfeng shook his head. Then does that mean you have a plan? Asked the scarred man joyously. Of course. Otherwise, why would I act so kind to him? Every single person who ever gets to see me put on that kind of face has died. Jia Changfeng smiled a dark and profound smile. The scarred man couldn't help but shiver. Don't forget our goal in coming here. He's just a small matter. Let him live for a few more days. The Phoenix Cry's Empire's largest festival, the Phoenix Cry Lantern Festival, is about to arrive. That's the largest martial arts gathering of the year for the Phoenix Cry Empire. My praise today is not to be wasted. Once his popularity reaches its peak, challenge him at the Lantern Festival. At that time, would he be able to refuse? Jia Changfeng leaned back into his chair, his eyes half closed and a cold smile appearing on his mouth. Only now did the scarred man realize what a vicious trick this was. At that time, countless people would be watching. Long Chen couldn't refuse no matter how much he wanted to. If he dared to refuse, he would drown in ridicule, especially since he was so popular. However, be a bit more careful. As my imperial bodyguard, you can't reveal too much strength. Don't make me warn you again. Yes, don't worry, Master. Over these years, I have never revealed my true strength, replied the scarred man hastily. Jia Changfeng nodded. Looking out into the night sky, his pupils were the exact same shade as the curtain of night. Unfathomable. Chapter 25, End.